everyone, hope we are doing well. Hope you've all had a lovely weekend. I'm finally home. I've had a long one and an expensive weekend going to watch West Ham play Sheffield and beat Sheffield United. Now, don't get me wrong, I've had a good time, but it would have been cheaper to go to Spain for the weekend. That's all I'm saying. But I've had a great weekend. I had a fantastic day yesterday, seeing a few people I've not seen for quite some time, and I enjoyed the football as well. That 90 minutes, thoroughly enjoyed it. Now, was it champagne football for 90 minutes, the whole game? No, it was not. But that's why I enjoyed the first half. The football on display for the first 45 minutes at London Stadium yesterday, loved it. If I could copy and paste that for 90 minutes every single game, I'll have the best season. I enjoyed that football that we played in the first half yesterday. The second half, did we play like that? No. It was a bit of a drab affair. It was dull. I was getting bored at one point. So while I enjoyed it, it wasn't because of what I seen. The first half, I enjoyed how we played football. The second half, I enjoyed how we controlled that game of football. It's not always entertaining. In fact, there was very little entertainment in the second half. It was boring. But we did what we had to do. We beat Sheffield United. We made it look easy. It probably was easy, but we made it look easy without getting out of second gear, really. We got the first clean sheet of the season, and it would have been nice to kick on in the second half, try and get goal number 3, try and get goal number 4. But I don't think we were ever going to do that. I don't think we would have went gung-ho in the second half. And, you look the week before, I think because Newcastle beat them 8-0, it maybe raised our expectations a little bit. Man City had to score in the 88th minute against them to win the game. Tottenham had to score 2 goals well into stoppage time. What was it, in the 96th minute, in the 99th minute or something like that? Tottenham had to score 2 goals to beat them. And that's their last 3 games. So they're not, while they've only got 1 point and 6 going into it yesterday, that 8-0 defeat would have made them, you'd expect a bit of a reaction. And like I said, before the game, speaking to people before the game, there's a little bit of nerves kicking in. A few people, hang on a minute, I don't like this scenario. We made it look easy and it was comfortable for us. So I can appreciate it and enjoy it from a different angle. Not the entertainment one, but from how to manage a game of football. I thought we got spot on in the second half. Now, what I will say though, I've been thinking this for a couple of weeks now, but I've just been wanting more evidence. There's maybe not enough evidence at this point. We're still only 7 Premier League games in. But this team is starting to remind me of the one from 2020, 2021. Now, you're anything like me with perception of time, you're going to need a bit more than that from me, right? Because if I tune into a West Ham Fan TV video and Ryan said, this team reminds me of the one in 2020, 2021, hang on a minute, Ryan, give me a bit more than that. I need some indicators, I need some clues as to what season you're on about. But it's the season that we finished 6th, the one that we had no European football. We signed Jesse Lingard in January and went on to finish 6th in the Premier League. That one, that team, that season. I'll do my best to explain why. We're going to have a bit of a chit chat about it. But before we do, if you're new around here, please do subscribe to the channel. There's a big red button just below this screen. It takes about 3 seconds and is completely free to subscribe. So please do get involved. But whether you're new or you're a regular subscriber, please do drop a like on the video by clicking the thumbs up. It helps this video out, it helps this channel out, and plus it gives me a little morale boost. But anyway, as I was saying, it's starting to remind me a little bit of that team. Because in football, we get tests, various different shapes and sizes get thrown at us. Every single week we've got a different test on the board. And it's a case of what ones can you do? What can you do? What can you achieve against? What do you struggle against? And we've seen already, although it's only 7 games, and we've seen different ones, and we're going to see more different ones. And that's kind of why I'm doing the video tonight, before Newcastle and Aston Villa, because I think they're big ones actually. And that's probably going to give us a good gauge as to what we can hope for this season in the Premier League. But so far, in the last couple of weeks, we had the Man City Liverpool one come around, which is the test is you're playing one of the teams that you're probably not going to get anything against. You probably don't expect to get anything against. But what can you do? Can you get some bonus points on the board? Can you compete with the big boys? Well, the answer ultimately was no. We got no points. But I thought there was positives to take from both games. Both games. I came away thinking, well, actually, that was all right. That was quite good. That was a little bit unfortunate. While we lost, there was positives to take from it, which I don't always do. When we play City and Liverpool, I've not always come away thinking that. Quite often, we've waved a white flag. Just before a ball's been kicked, we've accepted the defeat. And it was almost, sometimes there's a feeling of, let's keep the score as low as possible. I've not really felt that in the last couple of weeks, which was good. And then we get the other side of it against Sheffield United, against Luton. You're expected to win. You're the favourites. You're going to have more of the ball. What are you going to do? Can you beat us? Can you win the games you're expected to win? And we know damn well fine. In the past, West Ham don't always win them. We do not always win these fixtures, but we've done it now. 2 games, 2 wins, and you get all the other tests in between. Chelsea, Brighton, Bournemouth, file them in the middle somewhere. And yes, there was another one against Sheffield United. They've come off the back of an 8-0 hammering. You'd expect the attitude to be a bit different, but all the pressure was on West Ham. Can West Ham go and do what Newcastle did? We were never going to do what Newcastle did. And in fairness, I didn't see anyone predicting it. Now, I am limited to the comments from our subscribers on YouTube. I'm limited to that. And then the people I spoke to on the boats before the game. That is it. And my friends. That's it. So it's a small group. It's a very, very, very small percentage of West Ham fans. But I didn't see anyone predicting us thumping Sheffield United. The biggest scoreline I seen was probably Gonzo saying 3-0. But didn't see anyone going for a bigger one than that. Maybe 4, but concede 4-1, 4-2 or whatever. But no one was expecting us to give them a proper hiding like Newcastle did. And I think they were right to not expect that. Because the weekend before that, they got beat by Tottenham. But Spurs scored the equaliser and the winner well into stoppage time. What was it? The 96th and 99th minute or something like that. That was Spurs at home against Sheffield United. The week before that, Man City beat them 2-1. 88th minute winner. So City and Spurs didn't have it easy against Sheffield United. Newcastle did. But if you watch that game, Sheffield United could have been 1-0 up after 10-15 minutes. They were the better team for the opening stages of that game. Well, you can't say that against us. We were the better team from the start. We didn't need last minute goal. The game was done by half time. Let's be honest. The game was finished by half time. And that's why I thoroughly enjoyed that. I've watched the first goal about 10 times now. That was Brighton. It'll be played on repeat everywhere. The move that we made for that first goal, for Bowen's goal yesterday, was fantastic. And it's not the first goal this season. I thought, well, hello, I like a little bit of this. Bowen's goal against Brighton, fantastic. We've changed. I think we've changed. This team is different to last season. Last season we were dreadful. But this season, and I've done my best. I'm not saying you have to. What I've done in the summer is almost pushed a reset button. Not just for everything to do with West Ham. Almost say, right, reset, new season. It feels like a new era a little bit because Rice is gone. We're no longer a one-man team. It's no longer based a team around Declan Rice. It's like, well, what we're going to do now? We're going to have to play a new way. We're going to have to play a different way. We're going to have to. We don't have Declan Rice there. And in the summer, I was worried. How are we going to cope without Declan Rice? The first couple of games went by. I thought, we're not missing him. We're doing all right. We're 7 games in now. Not missed him at all. Not missed him once. Now, it doesn't mean Declan Rice... my opinion stays the same. Declan Rice is a world-class player. I know someone's going to say, I'm not here to debate whether Rice is a world-class player or not. My opinion just doesn't change just because he's gone to Arsenal. I don't really like what's happened since he's gone there. All this noise around him and whatever. And I hope we do Arsenal in the Carabao Cup. I'm really looking forward to it. But anyway, my point is I was a little bit worried as to how we were going to cope without him. 7 games in now. We've not missed him at all. We're better without him. How many games do you have to go before you can say, all right, it's fine, we're not going to miss Declan Rice? Do you need 10, 15? And I guess that is kind of why I'm having this opinion now, doing this video now. Because if I waited 15 games, I said, well, actually, before the Sheffield United game, I was thinking got similarities to that season back then. You're like, oh, of course you did. You make videos about everything else. Why would you not make one about it? So I put my opinion out there, neck on the block a little bit. But if the next 2 games go well, and I'm not saying they will, I don't know yet. I haven't really formed an opinion, but we can get 3 points out of our next 2 games. I'll be happy with that. Get 4, I'll be delighted. But I think that'll give us a barometer of what we can expect for the rest of the season. Mr. Old Sir Alex Ferguson said, don't pay attention to the league table until you're 10 games in. Well, after 10 games, when we played Villa, Newcastle and Everton, there's a good chance that we'll be comfortably in the top 10, but there's a chance we'll be in the European spots. Well, Fergie says you should pay attention to the league table after 10 games. I'm going to listen to him, let me tell you that. But the way that we're playing games and where we're winning games, I think it's different to last season. I think we're quicker. I think our counter-attacks are much faster, much more direct. And it's not long ball. It's not getting booted through the air. It's on the deck. It's quick passing. Bam, bam, bang. There you go. Get the ball up the pitch as quick as we can. We're committing numbers forward this season. Antonio's in the box. Bowen's getting in the box. Paqueta doesn't get in the box. In fairness, Paqueta is not getting anywhere near the box like he did last season because he's been moved. But as a result, Ward-Prowse and Souček, they're now getting in the box. We're getting bodies in there that we never seen last season. We're different this season to last season. Maybe it's because I pushed the reset button that I'm seeing things perhaps either clearly or not. What's the opposite to clearly? Maybe I'm being distorted. Maybe I'm getting a bit carried away. But I feel the football this season that we've seen post Bournemouth, and the reason I'm leaving that game out is because A, I was pissed off about it, but B, we didn't have any new signings. We had no new signings for the Bournemouth game. So now we're seeing we're seeing 2 of the new signings. But this is the squad now we've got for the rest of the season. We're seeing it now. In the first half yesterday, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought we played really good football. And I talk about the first goal. The second goal wasn't too shabby either. Interception, nice little pass, another nice little pass, quick shimmy, goal, sorted. We didn't see that last year. That was not there. The football this season is different. And it's not because it's Sheffield United. Well, it was yesterday. But the goals against Brighton, we've scored some great goals already this season. There's probably been more goals this season scored that are better than the ones last season. You took my favourite 5 last season. The ones this season are probably better than those ones. I'm really enjoying it, actually. So yes, yesterday was the second half boring. It was dire. It was boring. But we managed the game. Moyes will be buzzing about that. Now I've heard his comments about how the second half wasn't particularly entertaining. I can't remember the exact phrase, but he suggested the first half played really good and the second half not so much, it was a bit boring. Well, I make him right, but I bet it doesn't mean he's unhappy with it. Moyes would have been happy that second half was boring. We got the clean sheet. Sheffield United were never really in it. One big save from Areola in the second half, but we had our half chances in the second half. It's not like we went the entire second half with no chances. The shots might be low, but the opportunity to create chances to shoot was there. It was just poor decisions, and one person in particular wound me up in the second half. I'll do a video about him. Maybe not tomorrow. Tomorrow's video is all about Thomas Souček, by the way. The sort of rising of a phoenix of Thomas Souček. I've absolutely loved him this season, but again, I've pushed the reset button. I'm trying to forget about Thomas Souček last season and the season before. But we're now seeing the old Thomas Souček, the 2020-2021 Thomas Souček. He's back, and I'm liking it. I'm liking what I'm seeing this season, and it's getting me a little bit excited because I feel like we're playing different football. And a large part of that is because we sign players to play like this. Alvarez was signed to play like this, and he's playing like this. Ward-Prowse was signed to play like this, and he's playing like this. From what I've seen from Kudus, and it is limited, I didn't see the game against Lincoln, so I can't possibly comment on that. But from what I've seen against TSC and what I've seen yesterday, and it's only brief, it's only small glimpses, but I'm also taking into consideration from what I've seen from him at Ajax, because it's the same blinking player. It's not like we've signed him from Ajax and played him left back or anything. It's the same player. So what I've seen, and there's quite a lot, I've seen a decent bit of him at Ajax actually. He can fit what we're doing, how we're now playing this quick attacking football. Quick counter attacking football, I should say. We saw glimpses of it yesterday. I just think he came on too late. Now, while I'm sort of throwing loads of praise out here about how we're playing, that's still a criticism. The subs are still a little bit slow, but I'm pretty sure we did that in 2020-21 as well. I'm pretty sure back then the subs were slow. So similarities, right? I'm taking it. But I just think the football's different now. But the reason this team reminds me of that one is the way we're winning games. It's not just one way. I mean, last season was, can someone score can someone score an own goal for us? Or can we get a fluky goal, a lucky goal, maybe a set piece goal, and we're just going to defend for the right? Can we get a 1-0 win, please? Last season was horrendous. It was horrific. But this season's different. And it just reminds me of how, not so much grinding out results. We're not really doing that. Maybe against Chelsea we did because we're down to 10 men. But we're comfortably seeing games out with little fuss. And back then we did it. And I remember doing plenty of reviews. And this is the biggest reminder for me. I remember doing loads of reviews that season with Gonzo, where we were hesitant to get excited for European football. We were at the top of the table for the whole season. We were in the top 4 for a few weeks. And this is in January. We were in top 4 for periods, but we refused to get excited because it felt like it was all going to come crashing down at some point because, you know, West Ham. But I remember doing plenty of reviews where we'd win games, maybe 2-0, a bit like yesterday. We'd win 2-0. And on one hand, we were happy we'd won, and we were happy. Just like we're both happy we won yesterday, we were happy. But on the other hand, there was a little part of us a bit disgruntled, it was a bit boring. The entertainment perhaps wasn't there, but there was no fans. There was no fans in the ground, so you were allowed to do that. You got away with it a bit better back then. There was no people to entertain, everybody was at home. And the need to entertain, in my opinion, and this might be a bit controversial, but this is my opinion, the need to entertain those at home is lesser than those in the ground. The commitment is lesser to those at home. You watch the football and you turn the telly off, happy days. When you go to the game, you commit your time, your money, your emotions. Well, I'm not saying those watching at home don't, but I think when you've got fans there, there's a bigger demand to play better football. But back in 2020-21, I enjoyed that football back then. When Lingard came in, that transformed us. That made us into a better team. We were better counter-attacking. But actually, positionally in the league, we actually got worse. If I'm not wrong, I think we were possibly 4th when Lingard joined us. And we finished 6th. Now, it was fantastic to finish 6th. But we actually, position-wise in the league, we actually dropped a couple of places. But the football was better. Football was more exciting. It was faster. It was quicker. Lingard was one of the best players in the Premier League for a handful of months. We know this. But what I'm trying to say is, I remembered plenty of games back then. Me and Gonzo were doing a review. And we would get the comments, which is, why are you complaining about the style of play when we're winning? And it was, well, we're not complaining per se. We're happy with one. We would just like a bit more entertainment. And yesterday reminded me of that time perfectly. Because like I said, first half was great, but the second half was boring. But we won. And I find it difficult sometimes to complain when we're winning, which is what we're doing at the minute. We're doing well. We're 7th. We've lost twice to teams at the top of the table. We've played 3 teams above us. Brighton being the other one who we've beaten. We've got Villa coming up who are just above us as well. So we've got, you know, we're doing all right. I'm really happy with our start. We're through in the Carabao Cup. We've won our first game of European football. 9 competitive games in. I'm happy with what I'm seeing. But it's just starting to remind me of that team a little bit. Because this football, like I said, the reason it reminds me is because of the way we're just winning these games. It's not always entertaining. It's not always sexy. Not like the first goal yesterday. But it's effective. And there's a lot to be said for that, I think. Winning dull. Playing dull, I think. It's not exciting. It's not going to get you up off your seat or anything like that. But what it might do is put points on the board. It might make you just believe a little bit. And it's got me feeling optimistic for the rest of the season, I have to be honest with you. Because we're passing these tests I speak of. Not the one against the top teams, but the other ones. We're winning at the minute. We're beating those. And the Villa and Newcastle games, all the way around, granted, they're big tests for us actually. Especially Newcastle are missing a few players, which they are. Can we take advantage of that? We've both got European football this week. It's not like we've got it and they don't. We've both got it. Can we take advantage of that and then see how Villa look when we go play them? I'm glad we're not playing Villa this weekend. I'll say that. I'm glad we're not playing them after thumping Brighton 6-1. And they've got a game. Whoever they're playing, hopefully they do us a bit of a favour. But, yeah. Just some similarities. Some. Not loads. Some. Maybe I'm getting carried away with it. But I'm optimistic. Anyway, I'm going to shut up now. Tomorrow's video, like I said, is all about Thomas Souček. Hopefully you can join me and celebrate the revolution of our fine Czech midfielder, who I still think was man of the match yesterday. I haven't watched the whole game back yet. I'll do that later tonight before we do player ratings in the morning. But what a goal. What a goal. And his pass for the first one as well. That's not last season's Thomas Souček. He's changed. Anyway, I'm going to shut up and disappear. But if you enjoyed this video and you haven't already done so, please do drop a like on it. You should have done it. I asked you to do it about 10 minutes ago. Please do subscribe if you're around here. Should have done that as well. But you've made it this far, right? If you haven't already subscribed to Hammer's Chat and you've got this far, I'd argue you've enjoyed the video somewhat, a little bit. That's worth a subscription, right? Hopefully. Maybe. Catch you tomorrow.